Good morning, Forward Point. Woo! Look at that. They look through the door. My name's Heather Oliver, and I'm going to be your MC this morning. Get yourself in here. I know, they're all getting their popcorn. It's okay. Morning, Manuel. Oh, snap. Good morning. Good morning. Anyways, Forward Point, we are a community of faith, hope, and love. We are here for you to find your purpose and be used in it. Amen to that. So if you're new, you can text WELCOME. And we will have a phone number on the screen for you. It's very simple. It's 315-883-2213. So I did it. I wanted to know what the jazz was about. I text WELCOME to that phone number. I got this cute little ditty from Jimmy. It was cute. And then I got a text message saying, I hope to see you today. And I was like, oh, he hopes to see me. So great, so great. Yeah, so anyway, Tuesday, yeah, I'm just talking to myself. I'm doing a great job. Yeah, I'm not doing the icebreaker yet, because there is nobody in here. Oh, yeah. All right, get in here. I love you all. I love you all. It's cold in here. Baby, it's cold outside. No, it's cold in here. Classic dad move. Stephen will not let the temperature rise above 42 in here. We got to save the money. So bring your coats, bring your jackets, bring your gloves. Bring your hot cocoa. That's how was your Thanksgiving? Mine was really chill. Yeah. I have 3 brothers, 2 older, 1 younger, and they all were visiting their in-laws. So then Ryan's parents decided they were going to go to Georgia. Oh my gosh. They were like, come on guys, come to Georgia because we got family down there. And we really thought about going, but with Rory, I was like, we're not making that drive in. I am not prepared to fly right now, so no. So we missed out on that, but I had my parents, and that was cool. They were all right. We ate at 12, and we lounged the rest of the day, so it was okay. Have you guys decorated for Christmas? That's the question. Whoa, calm yourself. You should be decorated already. This is garbage. If you don't have your tree up, I'm ashamed. Today? How many of you do live trees? Raise your hand. All right, you're killing the earth. Get out of here. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I got my fake stuff going on. Only plastic trees that you keep for 20 years. They're great for the earth, okay? And when you're done with them, you can plant them. Put some trees. Yeah, they'll be fine. Garbage. It's probably. Is it? Steven sent me a picture. Holy snap, that is all right in my book. Yeah, no, so my parents are like, let's decorate the house. I'm like, oh, that's great. So I'm out there decorating for my parents, and they put me on this giant ladder. I'm in the front tree. I'm like, yes, this is perfect. We got it. I wrapped that tree so amazing. Like, it was ridiculous. I go to plug it in, and half the tree lights up. And I'm like, what is going on? And Ma goes, now, Jerry, did you give her the bad lights? And he goes, what are you talking about, Cheryl? We don't have any bad lights. Yes, Jerry, one of them doesn't work. Well, Cheryl, you should have told me that. And I was like, are you guys kidding me? I just wrapped this tree, I like blood coming off my hands, and you gave me bad lights? And they're like, you're going to have to take that down. I was like, give me a knife. And I cut that out because I was so mad. I was like, are you kidding me? That's all right. I rewrapped it with my lights that I knew work. Anyway, so welcome to Forward Point, family. It's good to have you here. There is some weather on its way in, but we don't care. Anyway, we are going to get started with an icebreaker. Rebecca's not in here, so we all stand a chance. I'm just saying. Ha, ha, ha. Picture puzzles. Now, I remember the first time I came to Forward Point, Jimmy did this. And I rocked at it. But I already got the answers, so I'm not going to tell him. But my boy, Ryan Oliver, up in the bleachers there, balcony. You guys you gotta hold back, man. He is good. So put your thinking cap on and let's get started. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have a new front runner? Was that Bryant? Garbage. Sit down. Bryant beat you. Garbage. All right, next one. Oh, wait. There's the answer. 12 days. He was right. He's on, man. You drinking Red Bull? That's what it is. You didn't drink your happy juice. What's this? Oh, wait a minute. Who said that? I can't see. Is that John? Oh, man. We got some talent here. Joy to the world. All right, what's next? Who gets credit for this? Who did it first? You want to fight? Okay, bring it down front, and we'll fight and see who got this first. Good job, guys. Ho, ho, ho. There's going to be a fight in church. I'm not sure. Ho, ho, ho. This is literally my favorite one because my name is Heather Oliver. So when I married my husband, he made me a ho. Oh, snap. You guys didn't get that. All right, go ahead. Move on. Moving on. No, definitely not. Come on now. Okay, what is this? Who did that? Yes, Chris Cameron. For the win, we. Come on, guys. I didn't know who the football player is. But, I mean, the rest of it, I figured it out. Okay, what's next? Who just did that? You're not allowed to talk anymore. Give the people a second to look. I'm just kidding. Chris, for the win. Peace on earth, goodwill towards men. That's good stuff right there. Come on, guys. Come on. You got this. My girl back here, Miss Tina, is over here. She's throwing shade at you all. She got it. You didn't. Boo. Okay, that's good. Come on. Who did that? Oh, my boo got it. There you go. Way to go, Rai. Oh, holy night. He's holy. You get the dots? Okay. Come on now. I know this is a hard one. Who did that? Who did that? I can't see you. Who is you? Yes. Yes, girl. You got this. Ornament. That was good. I would have let that sit for a while. I wouldn't have gotten this. Okay, guys, you got this. Ready? What? No. Uh-huh. Come on, people. You're smart. What's the first thing? It's a deck of cards. What's the second thing? No. What's the second thing? Core. It's a core. Oh, man. What's the last thing? Decorate. Okay. Could be Oreos, or it could be... Yeah, that's my boy Matt right there. He got it. Decorate those cookies. That is it. Okay, next. Who did that? Brian, he is spewing. So, Ryan, you have to go sit down. Brian is whooping you. Okay, what, is that it? Was that it? Okay, give yourself a round of applause because you're that amazing. Straight up. I'm so proud of you guys. That means you got like a little bit of brain going on up there. Okay, we have to talk about something important. Tuesday. Do you guys know what Tuesday is? Who knew that? How do you know that? I didn't even know that. Okay, anyway, so Giving Tuesday. Wait, oh yeah, you're right. Cyber Monday. Yeah, Yeah, that's it. That's it. They want you to think about giving. So Facebook is doing something special, pretty awesome, pretty cool. But here's the gist. $7 million Facebook is going to match. But it goes so quick. It goes so quick, it's done in 5 minutes. It's no joke. So 8 a.m., if you want to, go on Facebook. You're going to do the Giving Tuesday at 8 a.m. You give to us. Facebook gives to us. If you can't do it, Jimmy Doyle, where are you at? Right there. See that man? He's on top of it. If you need help doing it, you want to kind of have him set it up and him do it. I don't care. He's like, yo, here, I want to give $5. Can you hook me up? He's going to do it. I think he's going to be up at like 4 a.m. just sitting there putting all that info in. So anyway, so that's going on. So that's exciting. We don't want to really miss out on that. So if you're into it, talk to Jimmy Doyle. Let us know, okay? 3 ways to give. Listen, if you're new here, we're not expecting you to give. We're expecting you you're invited into our house, our family. We don't expect you to pull out money and throw it at us. We're not expecting anything, but there are 3 ways to give: in person, online, and text. Yeah, I did the texting. I decided I wanted to see what it was about because, old school, grew up in church, write a check, throw some money in the box, whatever. But I did the texting. It was pretty simple. I just texted the amount to that number, and it sent me a link, and all I had to do was just put my card in, and now it's saved on file. So that was pretty easy. It was pretty simple. I liked it. Way to go, Jimmy. Gave me a receipt, my recipient. And, yeah. So how things go down here at Forward Point, we're going to do some worship. You can sit, you can stand, you can sleep, I guess. Whatever you want to do, you are welcome to do. We're just going to invite the presence of the Lord to be here, and we're going to worship the King. That's how we do. And I would love if we could all just get up, say hi to each other. We're going to do some slow motion 5s as the band comes forward.
Good morning, church. Alone in my sorrow and dead in my sin, lost without hope with no place to begin. Your love made a way to let mercy come in. When death was arrested and my life began, ash was redeemed, only beauty remains. My orphan heart was given a name. My mourning grew quiet, my feet rose to dance. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Released from my chains, I'm a prisoner no more. My shame was a ransom he faithfully bore. He canceled my debt and he called me his friend. When death was arrested and my life began. Savior displayed on a criminal's cross, and darkness rejoiced as though heaven had lost. But then Jesus arose and our freedom in hand. That's when death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. It's your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Oh, we're free, we're so free. Oh, we're free, free, forever we're free. Come join the song of all the redeemed. Oh, we're free, free, forever, amen. Death was arrested and my life began. Oh, we're free, free, forever we're free. Come join the song of all the redeemed. Yeah, we're free, free, forever, amen. When death was arrested and my life began. That's when death presence of my enemies. Raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief. Raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. Raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me.
I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive.
Raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me. Raise a hallelujah. I will watch the darkness flee. Raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery. Raise a hallelujah. Fear you lost your hold on me.
I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder,
Sing a little louder.
sing a little louder,
Sing a little louder.
sing a little louder,
Sing a little louder.
sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
In the presence of my enemies,
Sing a little louder.
louder than the unbelief.
Sing a little louder.
My weapon is a melody.
Sing a little louder.
Heaven comes
sing it
to fight
again.
for me.
Sing a little louder. Come on, church.
In the presence of my enemies,
Sing a little louder.
louder than the unbelief.
Sing a little louder.
My weapon is a melody.
Sing a little louder.
Heaven comes to fight for me.
Sing a little louder. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, Heaven will always come to fight for us. Heaven will always fight our battles. We gotta look for it, guys. We can do it. My foes are many, they rise against me, but I will hold my ground. I will not fear the war, I will not fear the storm. My help is on the way, my help is on the way. Oh my God, He will not delay, my refuge and strength always. I will not fear, His promise is true, my God will come through always, always. Trouble surrounds me, chaos abounding, my soul will rest in You. I will not fear the war, I will not fear the storm. My help is on the way, my help is on the way. Oh my God, He will not delay, my refuge and strength always. I will not fear, His promise is true, my God will come through always. Oh my God, oh my God, He will not delay, my refuge and strength always. I will not fear, His promise is true, my God will come through always, I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. Come on, church, let's sing it nice and loud. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. I lift my eyes up, my help comes from the Lord. Come on, church, one more time. Last one. He will not delay. My refuge and strength always. I will not fear. His promise is true. My God will come through always. Oh my God, He will not delay. My refuge and strength always. I will not fear. His promise is true. My God will come through always. Oh my God, He will not delay. My refuge and strength always. I will not fear. His promise is true. My God will come through always, always. Always, always, always.
of circumstances, right? Naked in the promotion, great, fruitful, and multiply. Sign me up.
We didn't turn him on.
But even in the midst of that, enter the serpent. The serpent comes in, and what does the serpent say? The serpent says, "Did God really say not to eat from this tree?" Right, one rule that they all had to follow is don't eat. You can have access to anything else that you want. You can be fruitful and multiply. Enjoy the bodies that I've created you in. But just don't do this one thing. Don't eat from this tree. And the serpent comes in and says, did God really say that? Right, did God really say you couldn't have that? I mean, look at all the things you do have, but don't you just want this one thing that you don't have? This one thing that you can't have. And we begin to see how, even as tale as old as time, that what you have tends to feel like it isn't enough. And you just have this desire, this feeling, if it just had a little bit more, if I could just have this one thing that I don't have, then I would be happy, then I would be fulfilled. Then all the pieces would fall together and I would be complete. And the reality is, for most of my life, I grew up believing this idea, living under this banner, this thought that more is always better, right? Because let's just think through this logic. If $1 is good, then $2 must be what? Better, right? It makes sense, right? Or if one vacation is good, then 2 vacations must be better, right? If one car is good, then having 2 cars, man, that would be great. That would be better. Right? If having 1 kid is good, then having 4 little girls, that's more than enough. All right, let me tell you. More, better, 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 better. And Solomon described it this way. The wisest man who ever lived, he said in Ecclesiastes, he says, better is 1 handful with tranquility, with peace, with contentment, than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Right, doing all these things, trying to accumulate stuff. He says it's better just to have 1 hand and be at peace than to have 2 hands and live in this rat race of constantly trying to have more and more. In other words, it's better to have less of what doesn't matter and more of what does. Because your life, forward point, and you got to catch this, your life is too valuable. Your calling too great, and your God is too good to waste it on stuff that doesn't matter. The other day at the Apple store, I heard a couple of coworkers, and they were talking about playing this video game, and they said how, the reviews were somewhere around, 20 hours of playing the game. It's kind of dry, but once you get to the 60-hour mark, then it really starts to kick in and get good, right? And my first thought was, man, I can't believe anybody would give 60 hours of their life to playing a game. Because what do you come up with after that? You got really ambidextrous fingers or something, I don't know. But then it hit me, I spent years of my life up till all hours of the night playing Call of Duty and shooting zombies, and realized, man, I was that person. And at some time I feel this draw, this temptation to even go back and be like, man, wouldn't it be fun to get one of these game systems again? Don't laugh at me, Stephen. But the reality is, church, my life is too valuable. Your life is too valuable. Our collective calling, your individual calling, too great, and our God is too good to waste it on stuff that doesn't matter. Jesus said these words to some brothers who were arguing about stuff. They were arguing about the inheritance, and one of them wanted Jesus to tell the brother tell him to split the inheritance and let's get this money business out of the way. And Jesus addressed them and responded this way. He says, watch out. Now, if Jesus ever stopped and said, watch out to you, there's a good chance we should all stop and pause and listen, because he's about to say something important, something that he thinks is important. He says, be on your guard. Watch out, be on your guard. Pay attention to this. You're going to have to fight this. because there's going to be constant temptation. Be on guard against all kinds of greed. Because he says life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Right? Doesn't that stand in direct opposition to everything we hear in culture, but even this weekend as we're just steeped in this buy now culture? Everything around us, it tells the opposite story. And I want to tell you today that you are not what you have. You are not what you drive. You are not what you wear. And the lie is what you don't have, right, is what you need to be happy. Because what if the stuff that you have is actually robbing you of the life that you want and the life that you were created for? Because what does Solomon say? Better is one hand with tranquility, with peace, than having two hands full and chasing after the next best thing. So today we want to kind of go through and look at and some thoughts on what does it look like to live as one handful type of living. Again, if you're taking notes, this is the first thing that I think about is this idea of throwing things out. Right, when you look at the junk that probably most of us are sitting on, it can be kind of ridiculous, right? I don't know if there's too much more that frustrated me than going through the house selling process and just realizing, why do we have all this junk? Never again. And it's not just a matter of decluttering, okay? Catch this. It's not a matter of just decluttering stuff and better organizing, but it's a matter of de-owning. Right? Not just dividing it and kind of spreading it out throughout the house so it doesn't look so bad and people maybe don't notice as much. And I will argue all day long, okay, just ask my wife, that owning less is way better than organizing more. Imagine the things you could do in life if you didn't have to spend so much time organizing and reorganizing things, and you just owned less. Jesus had a real hard challenge for this guy described as the rich young ruler. How many of you guys ever heard the story of the rich young ruler? All right, growing up, for me, I would hear the story of the rich young ruler, and I kind of checked out, right? Because I'm neither rich nor a ruler, right? So I'm like, what's about to happen from here does not really apply to me. But the reality is, we all are rich. If you drove somewhere today, if you drove here to Forward Point this morning, then you're richer than about 90 to 93% of the world's population. If you had the option to eat 3 meals yesterday, then you're in the top 40% of people in the world. If you're able to order a pizza on your smartphone, okay, then you are in fact a crazy rich people. So this story does actually apply to us. And here's this guy, right? And he turns out to be, he's a really good guy. He's obeyed all the commandments, and he kind of has this question for Jesus and says, Jesus, what must I do to be saved? And Jesus has some very challenging words for him. He says in Mark, he tells the man, he says to go and sell everything you have and give it to the poor. He's challenging the possessions, and not just the possessions that he owns, but whether or not his possessions own him. And you will have treasures in heaven, right? He's saying there's something more important than the things that you have here on earth. And that's treasures in heaven. And then he says, then come, follow me. Because Jesus knows this about himself. Jesus knows that he's the author and the creator and really the source of purpose for all of us. And anybody looking for purpose like this rich young ruler was, right? He says, Jesus, I've done all the commandments and I've followed all the rules my entire life, and I just don't feel like I found my purpose. What must I do? And Jesus says, go and sell everything you have and then follow me, and you're going to find your purpose. But at this, the man's face fell. He went away sad because he had great wealth. And it's not even so much that he had great wealth, but it's that his great wealth had him. If I told you this morning that purpose and fulfillment were on the other side of just giving your stuff and following Jesus publicly, then, we'd probably all raise our hands and say, yes, we'd be willing to do that. But when push comes to shove, or even just the reality of the priorities in our life, they might tell a different story. And Jesus offers to him a life with less of the stuff that doesn't matter and more of the stuff that really does matter. Because catch this, church, it's not wrong to have stuff. Okay, we're not saying that here this morning. It's not wrong to have stuff, but it's when your stuff has you, then you're caught. It's wrong when your life is defined by your stuff, by the amount of stuff you've accumulated. Why? Why does our stuff have such a hold on us? Why can't we get rid of it? Right? Why can't you get rid of those MC Hammer pants that you've been holding on to because you think they're going to come back in style, all right? I don't have much hope for you, all right, guys? But reality is I see two reasons that we hold on to stuff with these two fistfuls. And the first thing that I see is this idea of fear, right? We have this fear. We're afraid that we might need this sometime in the future, right? Maybe my children might want it or need it, or it might become some kind of collector's item, and it's going to be their ticket to the good life. And you don't want to be wasteful, right? You want to be a good steward. But what I've learned is to as I'm trying to build my faith muscles, as I build them by letting things go and giving them away and trusting, man, if you know what, I really needed that, then God's going to be able to provide for that in the future. I want God to be my provider because he does it a whole lot better than I do, right? When I build my little nest egg of things that I might need, then my stuff begin to have me as opposed to just letting it go and trusting God to provide for what I might need. So in addition to getting rid of anything that I haven't worn in the past year, it's kind of been this rule that I've been trying to follow, right? I'm purging through my things, and if I haven't worn it in the past year, then we're giving it away because we're going to have less stuff. And now anytime that I get something new, I give something away, all right? There's this exchange process, so I'm going to stop accumulating things. And then, God, you know what? I'm trusting you to provide for what I need in the future if I'm going to need this again. Because I want to honor you, and I want to make sure that I have less of the stuff that doesn't matter and more of the stuff that really does matter. And the second thing I really feel that kind of keeps us from being able to give is, in addition to fear, it's this idea of sentimental value, right? Sentiment. These things have so much sentiment. Right? I remember Justice's first tooth that she lost, right? Oh my gosh, this is the most amazing experience. You put it in a little box and you bow tie it and you wrap it, and there's a dead tooth on the inside of this thing, right? But in the moment, you're just these memories, and it's precious and it's cute, and someday I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we can't get rid of it, right? Only now, after child number 4, I got like this medicine cabinet full of all these little baby teeth, and if someone were ever come in, I probably would look like some kind of serial killer, and that's what I do is I take people's teeth after my shelves are just full of all these, my trophies. Yeah. Or how about the first picture that she brought home from school that she colored, and you have no idea what it is, right? And you can't tell, but you got to put it on the fridge, and the next day there's another one. And, now after 4 kids, I just want to email my teachers, like, stop letting them bring it home, okay? Keep it there and then throw it away overnight, and they will never remember it. But now I have to, right? Now I'm just like, we got to get rid of this stuff. Because, in a week from now, we're never going to remember all these things. And now I see that I have a fridge again underneath. Because you know what? To date, I've never been asked where I put that one picture that they gave me. They never asked me that. And in the moment, we love and we appreciate the work that went into it and the accomplishment and the creativity. But then we make room for the next big thing, right? The next thing that they're going to do in life, and we want to travel light in our lives. Maybe you've seen Marie Kondo. Anybody know Marie Kondo? She went like Netflix famous because she just became this super organizer, right? She literally has a Netflix show just about organizing people's houses. And she talks about, just thanking the stuff that, for the good that it had in your life. And if you're a clutter person or a hoarder, that kind of thing, I challenge you to watch her show on Netflix. You probably go into convulsions or some kind of, violent reactions. But there's so many people dealing with clutter and stuff that her show went viral as a result. She's every hoarder's nightmare. But she says, I'm not going to let the stuff weigh me down. Less of the stuff that doesn't matter so I can have more of the stuff that does matter. Because why? Better is one handful with tranquility than having two handfuls and chasing after the wind. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw it out. The second thing that we're going to work on to do is we're going to buy less. And you may be thinking, Jimmy, it's a little too late. Right? I just went shopping. I just put the cyber order in. Almost 2/3 of people admit to shopping to cheer themselves up. How many of you can ever admit that you bought something just because it made you feel better about yourself, right? Maybe you didn't need it, who knows, but I just feel better doing this, right? You're feeling down or depressed, and so guess what, right? We go shopping, and it makes me feel powerful, and it makes me feel in control, and gives me the sense of significance for a moment. To buy something that I don't really need with money I probably don't really have to impress people that I don't even really like. And I get this kind of dopamine jolts, right? This feels good. Hit me again. Because that thing out there that I don't have it's got to be the thing that's going to finally give me peace and fulfillment. Finally going to complete me. One of the psalmists offers this prayer for us to combat this in our life. He says this in Psalm 119. He says, cause my heart to bow before your words of wisdom and what? And not to the wealth of this world. God, I want to bow to you first and not to the wealth of this world. Help me turn my eyes away from illusions so that I pursue only that which is true. Another version says, help me turn away from meaningless things. But I want to get to that place in life, and I'll be honest, I'm not there yet. I want to get to that place where I don't need things to make me feel better about myself. If a new iPhone came out tomorrow, I'm going to be honest with you, I would have a hard time not buying it, even though I have the current one. I'm sick, people, okay? Just a little grace, okay? Because Jesus has already defined who I am, and it's not in having the latest iPhone. In our home, we're working really hard to make this shift of experiences over things. Just asked, we've been living with the Cooks for just about a year as of a couple months ago, and the Cooks took us in. They're a family that help out here at Ford Point, teach the kids. And they took us in on what they thought and what we thought was just going to be a couple months, and it turned into this almost a year process. But they really adopted us as their own. They spoiled our kids, and they loved on them as if they were their own. But I said, we already came into their house with stuff, and we're living out of 2 rooms, and we don't need any more stuff. So I had this rule with them. I said, no plastic things. All right, if you want to get them things, no plastic things. No things that are going to wind up in the trash or me giving them away sooner than later. Let's do experiences. So that's what they did. One of the trips that they took us on, they took us to this trip that they went on all the time to Kingston, Ontario, and they took us where you got to get on one ferry, and then you drive to this island, and then you take another ferry, and they showed us all the places that they go to, and we just loved being a part of the world that They opened up to us, right? And they worked us really hard, right? You know, if you fall asleep eating a cheeseburger at a restaurant, it must have been an eventful trip. Just means more food for Daddy. Right? Less of what doesn't matter and more of what does. One of my all-time favorite memories with my family doesn't come from some gift or a present. It came from this moment.
Now we can just lock in a room with a doorknob.
Right, we're at Disney World and we got a chance to meet Gaston. If you don't know, Gaston is
See, that's how you know that he's
the
a lower
villain
life
in
form than me.
Justice is, you know, a little
Both
4 or
my folks.
5-year-old young family. She has this
Is that right here?
experience.
Yeah. Here? Oh, is this the marriage certificate? Got it. The marriage certificate. Maybe something else to write with. Here, we gotta write it in permanent marker. That way it lasts forever. Just like my love for me. Ready, come here. Stay right here. Gotta get a very special picture. You can hold on here. Other hand right here. Now look right over there and say, I do. She said I do. You all heard it. Congratulations, we're married. Look how excited she is. And hold on. Belle. Shake on it.
You gotta go shake his hand.
This is one of many moments that we had on this trip, which is why I wake up every morning fighting, God, can I move down to Orlando, right? I mean, to say it's the most magical place, it seems cliche, but the reality is like my girl's eyes came wide and open and full of life like never before, and it's those memories that I will never forget, that I will constantly work. We're not going to do anything else other than put money in the bank account so we can go back there again and have more experiences. But it wasn't just the experience that my daughter had, right? As I began to kind of watch and process, I noticed something about the effect that it had on Gaston, right? Gaston, these guys are professional actors and they play this role, and you know, Gaston is super tough, but in the moment, you know, he kissed her hand and Justice kind of came alive and excited and all giddy, right? He's a villain and he's a bad guy, but look, he's smiling, right? Like he's out of character. So Gaston doesn't smile like that, right? Gaston doesn't get happy. He's conceited and he's all about himself. But for a split second, this magical moment that he created for this young girl caused him to just break character and love it. And then, you know, he's got a job to do, so he's got to get back in character. And Mr. Serious. But imagine getting to do that, man. That's what living on purpose is creating these moments where people come alive, who they're created to be, who they were meant before. When my kids are older, right, and we're reminiscing about their memories, they aren't going to ask me if I remember that plastic Elsa doll I got them when they were 4 years old. They aren't going to ask about that time. Oh, remember that time you gave us the little video game system and we were able to play Olaf's Magical Adventures, right? The things that my kids are going to ask about are going to be tied to, you know, every day my daughter Augustine wakes up and she says, Daddy, when are we going to go on our next date? Because she just wants to have an experience with her dad. And those are the things that she's never going to forget, and we're going to reminisce about when I'm old and decrepit, and that's the only thing that I'm going to care about. Stop laughing, Stephen, okay? At least I'm not old and decrepit like you yet, all right? Those are going to be the times. We want to buy less, and we want to create memories. And finally, I think about one handful living, it comes when we give more. Paul told Timothy this. He said, to command those who are rich in this present world. And I think we can all agree that maybe not in our immediate neighborhoods we would feel rich, but this is for us, because we, compared to the rest of the world, we are rich. To in this present world, to not be arrogant, nor to put their hope their trust, their faith in wealth, which is uncertain, right? How many times over the past couple years have you heard about the economy is going to tank and we're always on the verge of collapse, and it's always uncertain. He says, but to put their hope in God, to put their hope in the author and creator of life and purpose, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. And he says, command them to, and catch this, command them to do good, to be rich not in stuff, but to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. And in this way, they will lay up for themselves treasures of heaven, stuff that really does matter, as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. Catch that line, the life that is truly life. That's purpose, Forward Point. That's when we're talking about helping people find purpose. It's the life that is truly life. Because your life does not consist of the abundance of stuff, but when you're a blessing, and when you choose experiences, and it's less of what doesn't matter and more of what really does. And despite what you may think about me, I've never gotten emotional over stuff, right? I've never cried as I unbox my iPhone, like, my goodness, this is the happiest moment of my life. I haven't. It's true. God, I feel so close to you right now as I'm holding this new iPhone, right? I don't have emotional getting stories like that. Man, I finally made this purchase and I can't. Oh my goodness. And I don't have any kind of emotional keeping stories, right? God, you're so good. I just want to say thank you for keeping me from giving sacrificially to those people who are in need. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy. I will never forget that. Right? I don't have any of those emotional keeping stories like that. But what I do have is more emotional giving stories than I can count. My stories that when I gave, and the person was awakened to a God who loves them in a way that I couldn't have expressed through words. It meant more to them than anything else. Because at this age in life, the only thing that really matters to me is, after spending so much of my life trying to accumulate things and stuff, it's the memories, the experiences. Because what, church? Better is one handful with tranquility than two hands chasing after the wind, going after things. Because why? The question is, are you accumulating on earth what you cannot keep? Or are you investing in heaven that which you cannot lose? Your calling, church, is far too great. Right? Your life is far too valuable, and your God is far too good to waste it on things that don't matter. Because why is one handful life better living, right? Because if someone is down, what can I do? I can help them up, right? If someone is in need, then I can take from what I have with my other hand and I'm able to give it to them. If someone is alone, then I'm able to embrace them and to be with them. But with two hands chasing after the wind, I'm not able to do any of those things. Here at Forward Point, we're about creating memories, experiences over giving stuff. The money that we receive from your generous sacrificial giving, we don't just, give it to anybody who says I have a need. What we said to do, we want to create experiences for our community, things that they experience that they're going to realize, man, we're in it for the long haul and we're here for them. So for years now, 2-3 years, we've been doing these monthly movie nights, and whenever we can, we'll use some of that money and we'll hire characters to come in, and people come and they take their pictures with Elsa and different characters, And we've had 400 or 500 people at some of these events that we do, creating memories. So this year, as we got close to Christmas, we said, you know what, we want to reevaluate and look at how we do our Christmas Eve. You know, everybody has Christmas Eve plans and expectations, and we've done a Christmas Eve gathering the past couple of years, but the reality is there's, you know, maybe a handful of people from Forward Point that come and a handful of people from the community that come, and that's about it. So we said, you know, what if we took our most look forward to event and we combine it with Christmas Eve, and we offer our community, said we want to create new memories for you and your family. We want to invite you to begin a new tradition with us. If you already have Christmas Eve plans and family and things you do, that's great. But you know what? There's some people who don't. And we said, you know what? We're going to offer our resources to invite them to create some new tradition. So this year we're doing our Polar Express movie on Christmas Eve. Right? We've already got a couple, Kim's parents are going to come and they volunteered to be Mr. and Mrs. Claus, which is something that they do, and we've never had both Mr. and Mrs. Claus, so they're going to be here that night giving of their time, and we're going to have the conductor back again, and we're going to show the movie. And we offered afterwards, if you want to stay, we're going to have a meaningful candlelight experience, and we're going to tell the story and not be shy about that. But we want people to have an opportunity, if they don't have a Christmas Eve experience, to create a new one with us. And there's no obligation on your part. We know a lot of you guys probably have things you do with family, and that's great. But if you don't, I'll tell you, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because times like that, I want to be around the people who I do life with, and that's you guys. So any of the volunteers that are going to be here, or people from Forward Point, afterwards, we're just going to get a bunch of Chinese food, and we're going to hang out at our house afterwards. And we're just going to celebrate the experiences and the things that God did, and the things that God did 2,000 years ago, and the things that he's going to do in the future as a result of creating experiences, having less. I'll be honest with you, church, it's hard because I feel like I deserve some things. Right? I feel through this house moving process, I feel like there's been some shafting that's gone on with the land bank, and I've had to pay some things that I feel like I shouldn't have to pay and lose a lot of money. So a couple weeks ago, I started this kind of mission to bring as much social awareness to what was going on, and kind of got myself in trouble a little bit. But through it all, I went to this band that was practicing, and afterwards, after listening to them, they asked me, hey, is there anything that I can pray for you about? And I'm kind of shy in that area, and I said, no, not really. Do you guys want to pray? That's fine. I'll join you in prayer. But as we were praying, one of the band members prayed over me this thing that they just felt like God telling them to say, this verse reference in Proverbs about not paying attention to building the house, but to tending the fields. Right? This idea that, there's work to be done, and if I'm so busy worrying about building this house, right? Kind of how in the face of a slap can that be? I'm in the process of building this house, right? And God speaks this word of stop worrying about building the house and tending the fields. Because the reality is, Scripture says those who build a house without God, right, they labor in vain. It's worthless. And as I find myself uncharacteristically trying to go after what was mine, what I deserve, it consumed my world, and it was the most uncomfortable couple weeks of my life. And God is reminding me, you don't have to fight for those things. You tend the fields. You do the work that I called you to do, and I'll provide for you. It may not be in the form or the vision, the way that you think it should happen, but I'm going to provide for you. And he has many times over. I don't know how we have half the things that we do, but it's because God worked through other people to allow us to be able to have these things. When we tend the fields and we say, you know what, we're going to focus on those things that really matter and less on the things that don't. Because better is one hand with tranquility than two hands chasing after the land bank to get everything you deserve. Will you pray with me this morning? God, we thank you so much that you've created us as sojourners in this life. And our calling is to travel light. To be able to live in such a way where in a moment's notice we can follow your leading and your direction to give or to speak or to pour into someone else's life. And God, we want to be people who practice giving more, buying less. God, we want to be a person that you can pour your resources through and they wouldn't get stuck inside of us and then begin to have us, but they would be able to work through us and be able to bless the people around us in our community. So God, first I just pray this morning for the things in our lives. And church, maybe you're here with me along just recognizing different things that as you look at your life, you realize, man, they've got me. When push comes to shove, my life kind of demonstrates that I care more about that than I do about the things that really do matter. So God, I pray that you would help us all this morning to offer those things to you as an offering. In the season where we remember the offering that you gave us in the life of your son and his birth that we're going to celebrate here in a few weeks. God, help us this morning as we start off this new way of living, of traveling light. That we would be free of the things that don't matter. And we would pursue the things that do matter. We would stop investing in the things that are going to die and grow old, and we would commit to investing in the things of heaven that are never going to die. So God, work in our hearts this morning. Work in our hearts this morning as we just close. Sounds like Brian's got some words. You want to sing? God, have your way in our lives. We love you. Help us to continue to be your hands and feet to our community. Help us to live lives on purpose and to bring purpose to the people around us, the people you entrust. We pray. Amen. If there's anything you need prayer for, we'd love to pray for you this morning as you go. Otherwise, we encourage you to hang out with us, enjoy some snacks and some goodies out there that were prepared for you on purpose with love. We love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.